Hey, this is Bruce Boudreau, and you're listening to Empty Betters with Nick, Mack, and Harrison.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to episode 174 of Empty Betters. I'm your host, Harrison Scholes. I'm going to toss it across the screen to my co-host, Nick Manella. What's going on, bud?
Not too much, dude. We're up late for this one. We haven't done a late one or an early one in a while for us, so this is fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Got a little EB after hours, recording at about 10:30 at night on the eve of Game 2, Vegas versus Florida. We will talk about that series here very shortly, but before we do, I'm going to toss it across the screen to my other co-host up in Milwaukee, Mac Vogel. What's going on?
How we doing, everyone? As Harry said, this is Empty Betters after hours mode. I've got night mode activated, got the shades going, which you would think like, okay, but the sun's not out, so why are you wearing shades then? And I actually have a reason. It's because when we record in the daytime, I have my curtains open. All you need is the natural light. But now that the sun is down, I actually have to have like overhead lighting in my room, and I don't really fuck with overhead lighting, so I gotta wear some sunnies, you know.
Gotcha.
You learn something new every
Got to
time I
protect the
talk to you.
balls.
Yeah, exactly.
Blue light glasses, as some would say, you could just pull that out of your ass too.
True.
And people forget that you can turn night mode on your devices, but you know what? They'll buy the
I do
glasses
that every
anyway.
night.
And now I'll toss it across the screen to my other co-host, Jackson Gross. What's going on, bud?
Not much. Just having a nice chill summer night. Went on a walk, had a nice strawberry popsicle. It's been a good night. And it's one of those few like natural, like organic ones that are like actually good. And it had it had bits of strawberry in it.
Oh, those are the best. I love
So
that. Wait,
good.
was it like what was it shaped? Is it like more like
a square?
okay,
yeah,
that's
rectangle.
the best one. Not like just the straight up and down like
No,
right.
No.
Okay.
You guys have snowballs in the Midwest? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a Maryland thing.
Yeah.
Is that really just a Maryland?
I
mean, there's snow cones, but it's not the
But
same
like,
thing.
yeah, you don't call them snowballs.
Yeah.
Damn, Jay, when you come to Baltimore one day, we'll show you around.
Yeah, my stepdad wants to see a game at Camden Yards, so we'll see what he do.
Best park in the MLB.
Definitely.
And we got a O's Brewer series coming up here too. Mac, will you be attending?
I will be at the game tomorrow, sitting lower level, for like $17 a pop or something like that.
Sheesh.
Oh,
I hope
yeah.
the dome is open, but I have a feeling it probably won't be.
Well, that'll be fun. We'll definitely be on the lookout for that. All right, jam-packed episode. We're here after hours, so we'll cut the pitter-patter and get right at her here. Before we touch on the Stanley Cup Final, we are going to have our question of the day, which is presented to you by Brackish Life. If you're like us and grew up on the water and outdoors, then Brackish Life is perfect for you. They have a wide variety of gear from UV shirts to hoodies and hats. It is Real Bay apparel made by Real Bay people. Head to www.brackish.life today to check them out. A little salty, a little fresh. Brackish Life. Mac, QOTD is all yours.
All right. You guys remember maybe a month or 3 ago, and I had the QOTD that was about the sandwiches and who would be the best party guest.
One of the best ones.
Right. And so I was rethinking the QOTD format and how I've really had a lot of just crazy would you rathers recently. And I was like, I got to get a little more creative here, think of something more along those lines. So we're kind of going back into that theme here. Which popular candy do you think would be the best hockey player?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Damn.
So like you could go like fruity candy or like a candy bar, but I'm picturing like, let's say you pick Skittles, it's like the bag, you know, it's like it's him suited up, or like it's a big fat Snickers bar with the helmet and the skates and everything, you know, like
best hockey player that's a candy, a popular candy at that.
I'd have to say, wouldn't it be like the king size like Hershey bar? because like that thing is just huge and it's gonna move people. So
Could be.
you just have a big ass chocolate bar just like skating down. Like, yeah, he'll lose a few pieces, but he'll have enough to get down there.
I feel like sour Skittles could be a huge vibe. Like, got a lot of grit to it, like
There's some
Why does it-
sandpaper in there.
exactly like a total third line like grinder winger who's gonna just like camp out in front of the net and piss you off.
I can
I'll tell
understand
you
why.
who it's not gonna be, and that's
Yeah.
$100,000 bar. That guy's
No.
way overpaid. He hasn't
Nope.
done anything in years.
Yeah,
like,
he's
so overrated.
He's super washed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see why Jay said the king size, but
Mhm.
Mac going in on the sour is a very interesting take. I like that though.
This is tough.
I'm gonna throw a weird one out here.
Okay.
What about Teddy Graham? Teddy Grahams don't get any love.
Is
that a candy?
Teddy
That's
King.
not really a candy, man.
like a-
That's like a snack. It's just like a
They have
Like-
like the little baggies that are
it's
like
closer to like a cookie than anything else, but it's
Yeah.
so a cookie can't count, I guess.
Nah,
So,
it's
like,
gotta
go
be-
gummy bears.
I gotta veto that.
Yeah, go
no,
gummy
that's
bears.
fine.
Gummy bears would be a good shot blocker in front of the D-man. Just
That's
absorbs everything.
What
Absorbs
about
it.
like as a goalie, like just like like on Easter you get like the Reese's egg,
Yeah.
just
Or-
the massive Reese's egg.
Well, he's probably the puck, actually.
Okay,
Well,
true,
actually,
that's
no.
fair.
Peppermint Patty is the puck.
That's a good one. Peppermint
Okay.
Patty's the puck.
What about the peeps? What about the peeps that you also get on
Goalie.
Easter?
Goalie, yeah.
Peep is a shutdown goalie for sure.
Yeah,
All right, I got a new one. I think Crunch Bar would be a great
Yo.
shutdown.
Crunch Bar's a good
Oh.
one. Good
Crunch
open ice
Bar
hitter.
would definitely be
Yes.
like a gritty, like Dmitry Orlov type D man.
Yeah. Second or third pairing, put him against the top line, shut
But
him
like
down.
has a wicked shot when he like wants to use it too.
It's like
Yeah.
Rob Blake. That's how I
Yeah.
pictured Crunch
Mm,
Bar.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Totally. A leader. A total leader in the locker room.
I like it.
Big locker room guy.
I had to salvage it over the Teddy Graham debacle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was bad. No, you redeemed yourself there.
Nick, what's your-
Any final thoughts here?
Nick, what was your final answer?
I think I'm gonna stick with the egg.
The egg.
All right.
Yeah,
The Reese's egg. Okay.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
Reese's in general. Honestly, maybe it's just because I'm thinking about the Hershey Bears, but like a solid Hershey bar might be pretty solid, like pretty good.
Yeah,
I could
Yeah.
see him as like a second line, two-way center,
I know Jay talked about the king size one, but as you guys know from going to Hershey Park, I'm sure they do sell a 5-pound one there. So I mean,
Oh.
good luck getting through him.
It's not all about size though. I mean, you think about
True.
they sell
Yeah.
like the Hershey's miniatures. Some of those guys could be like a Connor Sherry, a little speedy guy,
Yeah.
like flying
Oh,
around.
yeah.
Little water bug. Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like it. Good answers. That's a good question, Mac. I enjoyed
Thank
that
you.
one.
Thank
I
you.
think we should make some funny looking graphic on the Instagram and poll it to the listeners, see who they agree with.
There we go. All right, sounds good.
Just a reminder that you can comment and submit your questions, answers, whatever, to this segment. Where can they find that? Someone help.
Link in bio.
Link in bio. Go check link in bio. All right, let's talk the Stanley Cup Finals. We are recording during the third period of Game 2. We'll talk about Game 1 and then talk about Game 2 in a second. So Game 1, Vegas comes out with a 5-2 win. Marcia Show, Theodore, White Cloud, Stone, and Riley Smith all scored for the Golden Knights. Before we talk about the game, I read this little tidbit today, and I thought it was really funny. The irony of Marcia Show and Smith going against their former team. Obviously, it was a different GM at the time. But nonetheless, they're going against Florida, their old team. And if you guys remember, during that Vegas expansion draft, Marcia Show was coming off a sick year, and Florida didn't want to pay him. And Smith, I think they were like, you know what, we're just going to let him be the guy that someone could take because he kind of had a down year and he had 1 year left on his deal. They gave up Marcia Show and Smith to protect Alex Petrovich, who was a depth defenseman at the time, who is no longer in the NHL anymore. So just thought that was a little fun tidbit.
Swing
We
and a
should
miss.
honestly, at some point this offseason, it would be really fun to go through and find, for both expansion drafts, find like the biggest, like total hindsight bias things where you're like, now this looks insane, but at the time, like, I'm sure it made sense for this reason and the other. But I would guarantee there's a handful of those that you could pick out and go, holy shit, they protected this guy over him.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the Matt Murray Fleury thing, right?
That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. Yeah. That happened. We
There's a
gave
bunch
away
of 'em.
McCann too. And then for Florida, Eric Stahl and Anthony Duclair got the tallies for the Cats. Worth noting that Stahl got the opening goal of the series, shorthanded on a sweet wraparound.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thoughts on game one specifically?
I think the score probably tells a little bit different of a story. I think that thing was a lot closer than the score will say. It was closer to about midpoint of the third period, but it reminded me a lot of Caps Knights game one from 2018.
Yeah. 2-2 game going into the third, and then Vegas busted it open in the third.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, and really just a 4-2 game because you got the empty netter for the fifth one. But no, Nick's right. It wasn't a blowout, even though they lost by 3 goals. It was I thought it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Entertaining.
What did you guys think about the Stone not high stick goal? I thought they got that one right. I mean, it was a hell of a play. I think the bigger issue is
it was cool. It was impressive for sure. But yeah, no, it's the right call.
I think Tkachuk threw an absolute lollipop up the middle too. And I mean, the closest thing we have in the NHL to Pavel Datsyuk just knocked that out of the air and roofed it.
Yeah, it was a sick play. I feel like if you score a goal right after you do that, you shouldn't even have to like question it, especially if it's that close. Like, it's not like he was up above his head. It was kind of at eye level. I also think it's worth noting Marchessault has 9 goals in his last 9 games. So, Nick, your MVP pick is looking pretty solid there.
Looking good so far.
Yep.
Jay, your thoughts on game one at all?
Yeah, I just think obviously both teams kind of like feeling each other out through the first couple of periods, and then I think Vegas is just so much more talented than Florida. Florida's got a good roster, but Vegas has been building for this moment for a long time. So I'm not surprised they were kind of busted open there late in that game.
And then we move on to game 2, which I think, is kind of making all of us forget about game 1 a little bit, because the Knights are absolutely kicking Florida's ass at the moment. What do we got? 5-1 in the third period right now?
That is correct.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's pretty brutal right now. Last note from game 1, that Adin Hill save was incredible, but as we move on to game 2, Adin Hill
before you move on from that, I just think it's worth noting here. A lot of people on Twitter were a little bent out of shape because I believe, I don't remember if it was the NHL account or the Vegas account. Maybe one of you guys can help me out here. But one of them tweeted like a still image of Hill stopping it, and it said like the save. And it had people up in arms over being like, hope he saves the save. Nice try, buddy. It was way better. You already called it the save. Come up with a new name for this one. Like, people were mad. Myself kind of included.
I could not tell at all. I couldn't tell. I
completely agree.
So many people were mad that a lot of them. I saw tons of them.
Nick and Mac.
Yeah.
I saw it was like TSN, I think, posted like those 2 images like on top of one another, and they were like, like the turntables have turned. I'm like, they're completely different teams, and none of those players are playing for that team anymore.
Also, somebody said it best in the to be fair, most like through the Twitter thread, everyone had it right. They were like, yeah, no, Holtby's was better. And somebody said it best, that it was like Holtby's was way more of like a game changer. It
was with like 2 minutes left.
And it was literally in a 1-goal game at the time, which like, I don't remember the exact situation when
it's like 2-1
when Hill made the save, but either way, I rest my case.
Yeah, I'm not finding much with that. Just like the worst thing I've seen is like Adin Hill save like heard around the world, and then they have like all the different like broadcasts from like Sweden, Finland, Denmark.
I'm laughing because I feel like Mac is just like triggered by the save, and people compared it. He's like, all right, here we go. I need to speak my piece on this.
It's also 6-1 Vegas, by the way.
Oh,
I agree with you, by the way. I mean, it's really not that hard to come up with a name other than the save. I feel like there's a million things you could
call it save of the year. I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Yeah, or whatever. But okay, game 2.
The stop.
I feel like when you have a last name of Hill, you can have a lot of cool
King of the Hill.
Yeah, or like
Oh my God.
save on the hill or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know. Whatever. Game 2, Jay just said it. It's 6-1 Vegas. Just a ass kicking. So we're gonna have a 2-0 series going back to Florida. I have a couple thoughts on game 2. Was just watching it before we hopped on here.
Not to do this, but one last thing on game 1. Florida taking 11 penalties was way too many.
Oh,
I would be interested to see how many they took tonight, to be honest. I don't think it's 11, but I don't.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
know
like,
most of
it's
those
been an
were
issue
towards
for
the
sure.
end, but like
It's been an issue.
I think half of them were in the first and second period. So that's got to change.
They're also just not well. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, game 2, I mean, I kind of thought Florida might come out and put up a fight, in the first period, but it was all Vegas. I mean, they dominated the first really like 28 to 30 minutes of this entire game. They outscored the Panthers between the third period of game 1 and the first period of game 2, I think 6-0. They chased Bob out of the net. So it's been brutal for Florida right now. What do you think Florida has to do to change?
A lot.
Everything.
Instead of Nick, I mean, stay out of the box. I think they also got to generate some more 5-on-5 chances. Like they just haven't really had a lot of like really clean chances. I know we're only almost through 2 full games here, so it's a small sample size, but those are the things I'd notice right away. And I'd say, you don't have to panic yet. They always say you're not in trouble until you lose at home, right? And I think that's an old saying, and it matters less and less every year, it seems, like who's got home ice. But I do think that it's true that, they'll go back to Florida. Paul Maurice is gonna sit the boys down and say, all right, we gave them 2. We got to either put the foot down now or it's done. Like, I mean, it's that simple. And I think, I don't know. I still think that Florida will come out and win game 3 and we'll have ourselves a series here. I'd like to think that.
I hope so.
I think.
Sorry, Harry. Just
No,
quickly to answer your question about penalty minutes. Both teams with 22 penalty minutes tonight. Both teams with 3 power plays. Vegas 1 for 3. Florida 0 for 3.
And
I think wasn't Florida like 0 for 3 game 1 too or something like that?
I'll check, but probably.
I think so.
Eric Stahl was shorthanded, and I don't think Duclair was on the power play.
I don't think that was a power play. That was with 12 seconds left in the second period.
Yeah. So if they're getting those chances, they got to get that going, which I will say their first power play in game 2, it looked fucking amazing. Yes. They had 5 shots on goal. They were passing the puck really well. I think they were in the zone like almost the entire first half. Yeah. And Adin Hill made 5 saves and they just couldn't fucking find the net. So a little bit, I mean, they're doing some things right. It's not like things have gone completely the wrong way. Like they have some things they can build on, which I think is helpful.
I think it's very easy to say that Vegas looks faster, right? The team that's up 2-0 in the series, like they're winning the puck battles. That's why they're up 2-0. But the one thing that's really stood out to me, especially in this game too, Vegas's defense is just they're 6 defensemen, not team defense, but that core. They're making all the difference in the world right now between their puck moving ability, their speed. I mean, I saw in the first period there was one play where Florida's down 2-0. Barkov forces a turnover. I think Hill tried to play it out from behind his net, and Petro just fucking swipes it off Barkov's stick, clears the zone. Eichel goes down, enters the zone. They go in, score, bang. And it's that's Alexander Barkov, one of the best puck handlers in the league, and Petro's just yeah, not today. Hagues look good. White Cloud looks good. Guys, you don't talk about a lot.
There's just been some weird momentum things too. It's 1-0 early in game 2, 1-0 Vegas. They get that power play I was just talking about. The Panthers do. They get 5 shots, a bunch of really good chances. Seems like the momentum is maybe shifting. And maybe 30 seconds, if that, after Vegas gets their guy out of the box, they score on one random shot that just goes in the fucking net for some reason. It's stuff like that where that's going to deflate you as a team. Holy shit, what do we have to do to we're doing things right, and here we are, we're down 2-0. It's stuff like that I think leads to losing a game 6-1 because it really just deflates you when you're trying hard and things feel like they should be going well.
And I think one of the huge reasons why Vegas is able to capitalize on those situations is the forward depth as well. I mean, you saw 5 different goal scorers in game 1. And if Florida's going to continue to give Vegas who already has the best 5-on-5 offense out of the Stanley Cup playoffs, opportunities on the power play. They're operating at like 18%. They're going to cash in on some of them.
Yeah. It's rough, but that Vegas defense has looked active too. And Nick, like you said, depth scoring. Howden, Roy, can't remember. Martinez and Amadio all on the board tonight in game 2.
Yep.
And Marsha show with 2, I believe.
Tkachuk also just scored, so it's 6-2 now.
Nice. So with that, I want to ask the question that I think a lot of people are wondering right now. Who are you going to in game 2? Because both goalies suck for the Panthers right now. Or game 3, I'm sorry.
Bob.
You go back to Bob. It's not even a question.
You
Not
think
even
Bob?
a question. You can't panic that hard. And
You
get
haven't
a guy
really-
like Alex Lyon.
You haven't really used Alex Lyon since those Bruins
Boston,
games
yeah.
when he got yanked. So,
Yeah.
and not that was necessarily all his fault, but I think out of what you've seen from Bob, you got to hope that he can start standing on his head.
The only way the Panthers are winning this series is if Bob finds this game. It's that
Yes.
simple. So it's like he either does that or he doesn't, but switching is a suicide move. I think at this point, it's just a total desperation move. He can't do it.
Yeah, the only way with them switching out of Bob is if Spencer Knight was still with the team at that point. Like, despite maybe if he had played differently than Lyon did against Boston, but regardless, I think you have a lot more confidence in Spencer Knight taking over for maybe a game or two than Alex Lyon taking over for a game or two in the Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I saw a stat earlier today that said it was right after they put Lyon in relief in game 2, which, by the way, that was the right call. Not necessarily that it was all
Definitely.
Bob's fault, but everybody knows you got to do something to switch up the momentum there. And it was a stat that was like Alex Lyon and Adin Hill are both tending goal in the Stanley Cup Final right now. Both goalies have played more AHL games than NHL games in their career.
Wow.
So that's
That's
where we're
crazy.
at, ladies and gents.
Well, people are wondering how Vegas is so stacked. I'll give you a little tidbit, and I don't have numbers in front of me, but Jay might pull this because he's really good at this stuff. They have their goaltending tandem of Hill and who the hell's the dressed backup right now? Is it
Brossoit or
Yeah,
Is he still hurt?
They.
It's
My
not
point is
quick,
that
I don't think.
I don't think
Hold
so.
on. I'll deep
It's
dive.
not
You
Logan
guys keep
Thompson
talking.
either. I'm pretty sure it's
Uh,
Brossoit on the bench. They also
whoever
have
it is,
Logan Thompson and Jonathan Quick, but I believe those two are in suits in the press box.
Well, whoever it is, they're paying both their goalies under $1 million. I'm pretty sure, so that definitely
Ooh.
will help.
That might have gone in the net, by the way, if anyone's still watching this game.
Oh, that's close.
Who scored?
It's the Panthers, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where it's like the puck
Like
is going
on
to
the
sit
line,
on the goal
goalie pulls
line
it
and he
back.
absolutely like pushes it over with his glove, but you can't see it.
But it's
So
under his gloves, so you're not
yeah.
gonna be able to. Yeah. Anyway,
Mac,
but yeah,
I totally agree. Like, I mean, and Harry, I agree with you as well that what they're doing with their goaltending is just phenomenal right now. I mean, these guys, Brossoit played, I thought, great at times, and I would say good for 90% of his games. And now Hill steps in and he looks incredible. I mean, he's standing on his head. You can tell he wants this. He knows this is his moment, and this dude's going to get paid. Someone's going to see this and go, oh yeah, I want it.
pending free agent, he's going to have a nice ticket coming his way this offseason.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Vegas goes up 2-0. I
it's
want to
kind of weird how that worked. Can we pause on that for a second? It's kind of weird how that works because a lot of times I feel like we see this thing where it's like random goalie, right situation, plays well, then gets paid, and then everyone's like, "Wait, this guy's not even that good though." Like
Rick DiPietro.
yeah, I'm trying to think of other
Oh,
examples.
God.
Jordan
here, but,
Binnington.
like,
Ilya
yeah,
Brizgalov.
yeah.
Matt
Got
Murray.
Darling for 2 games.
Yeah, Murray for sure. Honestly, you could. People are gonna get mad at me for this. Jackson might get mad at me for this, but you could make like the Corey Crawford argument too. I know he was signed. He was signed long term, but like people famously say he's not that good of a goalie. It's just that team was so good and he was like decent enough, you know.
Might agree most times, but Matt Murray takes the cake over Crawford, I would say.
No,
That was-
Thank you.
And Crawford doesn't fit the bill because he wasn't like on a contract year, and he also won like more than just the one. So
He did get 2, yeah.
oh,
Plus-
Niemi, that's a good one though.
Yes.
Antti Niemi,
Oh.
Yes.
that's a huge one.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he fell off once he went to Dallas, San Jose.
San Jose.
He fell off. He did play in Dallas, but he fell off once he went to San Jose.
San Jose is where goalies go to die, except Evgeny Nabokov.
Literally.
And 2 seasons of Martin Jones.
Harry's favorite.
All that life. That was fun. All right, so I'm going to peg this question to Mac and Jackson as the two people on the show who took Florida. How are you feeling about the picks? I mean, I know that's kind of a hard question at the moment, but like, what are we thinking here as the Florida guys?
Well, I picked them in 7, and so I'm saying if they're winning, it's definitely going 7. I mean, they're not going to win 4 in a row. So, I feel okay about that, I guess. But I will say, I mean, yeah, like you said before, it seems like a big Captain Obvious moment to say something like this. But I mean, yeah, Vegas clearly looks like the better team through 2 games. It's Florida's gonna have to do something. They're gonna have to make some sort of adjustment or have a big come to Jesus moment and find another level or something. I don't know. They're gonna have to do something when they get back to Florida, whether it's a players only meeting or just a heart to heart with the coaches or switching the lines up, something like that. Something's going to need to happen for them to kind of flip the switch here. And it's just going to come down to whether or not they can do that.
I don't even know if they need to start like moving guys in and out of the lineup. If I was Paul Maurice, I would just, let's get back to basics. Let's simplify everything. Everyone know your role, hard hat and lunch pail kind of hockey, and just find a way to try and dissect this team.
It's big, break it down, focus on winning 2 games in your own barn, and then go from there.
Yeah. I think it all just kind of comes down to the fact of just like probably starting to try and grind these games out and just hem in Vegas' zone as much as you can, because you're not going to win against Vegas with speed in the transition right now. So if you can try and slow them down, get Matthew Tkachuk a little bit involved on the physical side, and just start being more physical, because that's how most teams get back into a series, is they start being physical, slow the game down,
right?
And you get a few greasy goals here and there, and then all of a sudden you're up 3-2 in the series.
The Cats need an overtime game, but they're 7-0 in overtime or something. That's where they put the dagger in teams. So
they need Verhaeghe to get another overtime dagger. I totally agree on the physicality, Jay. I think where you can get into a little bit of trouble is what we've seen already, where they start throwing hits that are, late, high, maybe unnecessary. Then you get dinged with the 5s and 2s, and it's just so hard to come back from that in the playoffs. So definitely they need more physicality, I think, from the lineup, but you got to toe that line.
Right.
Speaking of physicality, I mean, we ought to probably address the elephant in the room here. Everybody's going to be talking about it by the time you're listening to this. The big hit, the Eichel hit. I don't really get what the penalties were. Can anyone explain that to me? I know he didn't get ejected, but he got like 10-2 or something. Like, did he say something afterwards, or like what? Like,
I don't know. I thought Edzo nailed it. I mean, he toe picked.
Yeah, no, they did a great job of breaking it down, slowing it down, and it's true. He fell at the worst time. He lost his footing at the worst possible time, went face first into a big Matty Tkachuk hit. But there's nothing dirty about the hit. It's just a bad coincidental situation.
I don't know if it was the roughhouse stuff afterwards or what, but the ejection, I don't know. Some people said ejected. I don't know if it was 10-2 or a game. I don't know.
It wasn't a game, because I mean, he came back. And
he's playing now.
Oh, I saw on Twitter we started recording.
No, a lot of people misunderstood because they saw him go down the tunnel, because they gave him 10-2 and there's less than 10 left in the period. So everyone was like, "Oh my god, he got ejected."
Thought the hit was fine. I mean, you guys said Eichel's back on the bench now too, right?
Yeah, Eichel. They're both fine. Eichel's playing, and Matty Tkachuk scored a goal after it. So it's like.
Sick hockey hit makes the game entertaining. I mean,
I'm glad he's okay, considering all the neck problems the dude has had.
Yeah. I'm guessing the 10-2 was more of like the refs were like, this might get really bad. We need to just like,
and it was about to.
It was definitely about to, and they probably were just like, we got to get some of these guys out of here to like cool off and take a seat, because all hell is going to break loose if we don't, which I kind of get, but.
Yeah, it was a good hit. I mean, we've seen a lot of big hits in this game.
Yeah, I love that too. Duclair doing some chippy shit as well, and they must have sent him home.
The last thing I'll say about this is, and I find this kind of ironic. Think of how many players the St. Louis Blues got rid of at the deadline. They got rid of Mikkola. They got rid of Tarasenko. They got rid of O'Reilly. How about the one guy that people slept on big time, except Vegas? They'd had the balls to go after him. Ivan Barbashev has been a monster.
I saw a lot of people picking him as like their X factor for this Cup final.
He's been at the center of it all too. I mean, they just showed a big hit from him, and that's what was pissing Duclair off. Basically, like he's just out there pissing dudes off and getting under people's skin. That's what you got to do.
Also, not too shabby. This is before the game 2 started, but he's got 6 goals and 10 assists through 18 games in the playoffs. Not too bad. And I believe he's a pending free agent, if I'm not mistaken. So he's also going to get a big ticket.
Is.
Yeah.
Ivan Barbashev, you are a Washington Capital.
Oh, boy. Russian. That's kind of your guys' MO, right?
Exactly. Any Russian free agent, I'm just like, yeah, you are on my team.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Well, let's move on to the discussion portion of the episode. That one is presented by Kane Footwear, who I think Nick has a word from.
Yep, you know we love Kane Footwear. I was over at Harry's house actually on Saturday. That was Saturday, right?
It all blends in, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Harry Grillmaster was slinging meat left and right, dogs, burgers, chicken. It was all fantastic. And while he was grilling, he had his Kane Footwear on because he was able to stay cool. If he got grease on him, hit him with the hose, clean him right up. It was fantastic. And it was a scorcher that day too, but
was indeed a scorcher.
That's another nice thing about him, honestly. Like, you wear flip-flops to the beach, your feet get burned, you get that dumb like sandal tan that looks super weird and also it feels terrible.
yeah.
Foot burn is like one of the worst spots to get. Like, your feet are just like
Top of the
itchy.
feet. Ugh.
Yep, exactly. But the canes are like closed in enough, you're not going to burn your feet if you're wearing them. So
exactly, it was definitely a deal saver, especially when you got oil and stuff coming off the grill.
Oh, yeah.
You dirty them up, hose them down, you're good to go. All right, let's start with the first discussion portion of the episode. We got the Ottawa Senators. They might be trading one of their big guns, Alex DeBrincat. The forward is looking for a long-term deal in the $9 million range. Do you think he will stay in Ottawa and sign long-term? Or if not, where do you see him going? I think Mac is going to hit us with one of these. You are a Washington guy.
Which is just a different layer of awesome because he just got an Alex DeBrincat Ottawa Senators jersey too.
I did, and I've been wearing it a lot too, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on it. I'm a big Cat fan. He's dope, but I don't know if the Capitals can pay this guy $9 million. Like that seems like something we probably shouldn't do. But I do really want him on the team. I think he's a great player. I think he would fit in well. I just don't know how you get around the price tag.
It would be awesome. I fully anticipate this guy to buy in, to drink the tea, and to stay in Ottawa. I think they're going to do some like a couple, 2-3 things here at the, in the off season, and bring in some pieces that are going to make people really want to stick around there.
Could be.
And I feel like they have to keep him at this point, considering everything they gave up. I mean, I have the trade pulled up here. They gave up number 7 last year, 2022 second round pick, so the second round pick last year, and a third round pick in next year's draft to the Blackhawks to get him in the first place. So
did it say who was picked 7th?
I forgot his name. It's I think it started with a K and he was a defenseman.
Okay. Is it Korchinski?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's who they picked, number 7.
Gotcha.
Nice.
But yeah, so in terms of landing spots, if they did decide to move him, I was just looking at Bleacher Report. They suggested the Carolina Hurricanes
Oh, come on.
as a potential option. So I saw that and it like immediately jumped off the page for me just because
Same,
they
but a
just
cliff.
they just went through a rough stretch, obviously getting swept by Florida. So adding another gun like Alex DeBrincat to a team that's already insane. Just looking further down the article, they also have Pittsburgh Penguins as a potential option.
Who wrote this? Did Harrison write this?
Let's freaking go.
Considering he had the Islanders and the Red Wings and the Flames on here, or the other ones. Lyle Richardson. He wrote this in April, so a few weeks ago. So
okay. The Wings could be tight.
Miles,
I just don't think
you've pissed
they would
off
do
some
it.
of my friends. I don't know. I think he will sip the Kool-Aid and probably stay in Ottawa. I think Ottawa is a good team. I don't know if you guys remember, but the preseason analysis, Mac was very big on Detroit, who I think will also be good next year. And I was very big on Ottawa, who I think is going to be good next year as well. They're a good team. They got a lot of good young pieces. I think he'd be foolish to leave.
I don't know if it's just because I got the jersey and it's like really swaggy,
It is.
or if it's because Snoop Dogg might buy the team. But I like fuck with the Senators all of a sudden.
Big
I
time
think they're
fun
like
team.
just kind of a cool brand of hockey.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Eugene Melnyk finally being gone. May he
that
may
helps.
may he rest in peace. But yeah, I mean, he was just an awful owner all the way around.
No, absolutely.
So like again, it was for Ottawa. I think they're on that starting trajectory where we are waiting for Bill Wirtz to die for the Blackhawks so Rocky could take over and actually field a competitive team and actually want people to come to games
And actually
So-
televise hockey games because
oh my god, I wasn't part of that era. I started like when the Cubs run started, but I've heard from people who were
they did.
who were
People forget
watching.
they used to not televise Blackhawks games because they thought they could sell more tickets if it wasn't on TV.
That's the dumbest thing I've
he like
ever
literally
heard.
chose. He like like into like the early 2000s. This was still going on. Like you just couldn't watch like home Blackhawks games on TV for the most part.
Didn't that just happen with the Avalanche too? Like
they had like TV rights issues with like Altitude Sports. So like you could go like stand outside the arena and watch the arena feed, but you couldn't watch it in your house.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
All right, and then the last discussion portion, I just want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And Nick, props to you for finding this one. The Champions Hockey League, they're a European hockey tournament that features the best teams from 6 founding European leagues. They have announced that they are making some rule changes regarding power plays. The rules are that a team will remain shorthanded even if a power play goal is scored during the power play. The second rule is a minor penalty will be served even if a goal is scored on the delayed penalty. And the third and final rule is that if the shorthanded team scores, the opposing team loses their power play. What are your guys' thoughts on these 3 rule changes?
So I saw this. The only one I really like is one that I've actually thought about for like years. For some reason, I thought of this like when I was a kid. And I always just thought this would make sense. I don't know why they've never done it. It's number 3.
Yep.
If you score a shorty, I think you should just get your guy back. I think that's badass. It's like you fucking blew it. You got scored on your power play, and now we get our guy back. Like, huge momentum shift. I think that would be an awesome rule change.
It's
the
like
other two,
the real life version of Monopoly's get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The other two I'm not big on, but I like that one a lot.
I agree.
I like it for the Champions Hockey League. I would like to see it implemented in maybe like the CHL or the AHL to see how it goes. I think bringing that to the NHL next year would cause massive problems.
No, you got to like try it out at lower levels for sure. But I'm open to the idea. And like you said, seeing how it goes elsewhere.
Yeah.
The only other one I'm kind of intrigued by is like the penalty still being served, a minor one, even if a goal scored on the delayed penalty. That's the only other one I'm kind of interested in. I think like, especially on a minor penalty, like keeping the power play going even after a goal just like makes no sense.
McDavid will break the scoring record.
Yeah, seriously.
That one's done. But I will say Jackson's kind of right. I mean, it would incentivize like goalies to get the fuck off the ice like as quick as possible for a delayed penalty, because that's just like a full-on extra power play that you get now, which is kind of cool, I guess. But
I think the like non-releasable 2-minute thing kind of takes away from the point of a 5-minute major anyways.
By the way, sorry, there are 6 players left on the Florida Panthers bench right now with 7 seconds left in the game. There have been so many penalties in this game too, and just chippy shit all over.
There's more guys standing behind the bench itself, like staff and like coaches.
Yeah, no, literally. They just showed Paul Maurice too, and he's just laughing at this point. He's like, this is just, we've got to get the fuck out of Las Vegas.
I'm hammering the Cats game 3.
And Howden also scored on the power play, so now it's 7-2. Officially final 7-2.
Final score,
Vegas.
It's over now. Yeah.
So interesting though, because these guys are off until Thursday.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, I think that helps. I actually think that helps the Panthers. You get a chance, you get a chance to regroup, put that behind you. It's gonna feel like a whole new series when you play in Florida on Thursday. None of this is gonna matter. Hopefully, you just freaking put it behind you. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
Really interested to see what the odds are for game 3 on that one, but we'll find out later this week. All right, let's move on to the news. We got some AHL chatter. Mac, Nick, which one of you wants to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take it.
You do the Bears, I'll do the Merles.
Yeah, shout out to the Hershey Bears. They've advanced to the Calder Cup Final for a record-setting 24th time. What else can you say? They are an absolute powerhouse. Love watching that team. Such a fun building. I'm going to try and be there for some of their final games. Tickets are relatively affordable for something like that, even lower bowl. So if you guys are going to be there, please let me know.
For sure.
And out on the other side of the bracket, we've still got the Milwaukee Admirals playing the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Game 6 is going on right now as we speak. Firebirds lead the series 3-2, and tonight's game, and if there's a game 7, would both be out west in Coachella Valley. So the Merles are tasked with winning 2 out in the Valley to keep their season alive, go to the final. I was at game 4, and the Merles tied the series at 2. It was a great game. I have a couple quick notes. Biggest takeaway, I also went to a round 1 game between the Manitoba Moose, the Winnipeg Jets affiliate, and the Admirals. And comparing that game to the game between the Merles and the Firebirds in the conference final, I noticed 2 major things here. Number 1, the Firebirds are a way better hockey team than the Moose. Like it's the Merles have their hands full with this matchup for sure. They're doing everything they can, but they like just seeing them in person. That's a good AHL hockey team. Number 2, the fans gave way more of a fuck about everything all of a sudden now it's conference final. I mean, you wouldn't even probably have known it was a playoff game if you were just some Joe Schmo at that first round against the Manitoba Moose. But this game was like how like a minor league playoff hockey game is supposed to be. Like the crowd was all over Joey Duckord, the goalie for the Firebirds, like the whole game, like taunting him, constantly yelling his name. All the people behind his section, like pointing at him, like doing the like, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. Just like constantly and like screaming his name, like to the point where he hears you. It's not a big rink. He hears you. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really hope that the Merles can somehow pull off a miracle here. They're losing 2-0 right now in game 6. So barring something crazy, they're probably gonna get eliminated tonight. But yeah, stranger things have happened.
Well said.
Should be a fun Calder Cup final with the Bears in there. So Nick, I'll definitely be looking for your live reporting from the game if you go there. All right, let's move on to the couple more tidbits of news, and then we'll get wrapped up here. Injuries. Patrick Kane, he underwent hip resurfacing surgery and will take the next 4 to 6 months to recover. Just a reminder, he will become an unrestricted free agent on July 1st. I mean, what do you guys think? Stay a Ranger? Go somewhere else?
Going somewhere else.
I would definitely agree.
The Ranger experiment is over. They fucked themselves with that, and they have to just take the L on that one.
Do you want to hear like the most disgusting list of like potential spots for Patrick Kane that I found on the internet while looking for this?
Read them straight off, and I can't wait to hear.
I swear to God, if number 1 is what you're about.
No,
to
number
say,
1 is
okay.
the Rangers. Number 1's the Rangers. Number 2, the Boston Bruins.
I could see that.
I want to puke.
Terrible,
Number
terrible.
3,
so dumb.
the Dallas Stars. I want to puke.
I'd be okay with that.
At least it's out west.
Number 4, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I don't want that. I don't
Just
even want it.
anyone really.
And these last 2 just made me laugh and also want to puke. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Carolina Hurricanes.
Is it bad that I think like Vegas would actually be the one to like go out and get him?
The Vegas
Yes.
one makes way too much sense.
Yeah.
It makes way too much sense.
Showtime, dude. And
I could see the
like-
Carolina one too, potentially, but
I just
so
like,
funny.
oh
I do
God.
not want
because you know what the
Patrick Kane.
Hurricanes need? Another
Blackhawk.
another guy who's supposed to be really good, but is perpetually injured.
Yeah, seriously.
That's what the Hurricanes.
Well,
need.
what are they going to do with Max Pacioretty then?
What do you mean?
Trade him for
'Cause
nothing
he already
like
does
Vegas
that.
did.
Exactly.
Well, no,
that was
I
my
know,
point.
but they'll probably either. I don't know what his contract is. I'd imagine they'd buy out or trade or do some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably end up in Arizona and be a cap casualty with the greatest team of all time.
True.
Merles are on the board 2-1.
Attaboy.
Love it. All right, awards. Shout out to Hillary Knight. She has been named the first ever IIHF Female Player of the Year. She had 8 goals, 12 points through 7 games played with the U.S. at the 2023 World Championships. Who won gold over Canada? In 13 tournament.
Who did they win gold over? One more time.
Canada.
There we go.
In
Yeah.
13 tournament appearances, Knight leads all World Championship players with 61 career goals and 101 career points. That is quite the accomplishment. Also a fellow Kane Footwear athlete, so shout out to her.
Cheers.
And then Connor Bedard. The only reason that the weekly Connor segment stopped is because his season stopped. But yeah, he became the first Canadian Hockey League player in history to win top player, top prospect, and top scorer.
You should tell all the listeners about his little comment today about Biz. That was a funny one.
Oh yeah, for those who missed, he was on the TNT panel for the pregame before Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final, and he's obviously sitting with Waino, he's sitting with Lundqvist and all these Hall of Famers, and they were asking him, they're like, "Yeah, you're 17 years old, you're in Vegas for the Cup Final. Like, how surreal is this?" He's like, "Yeah, it's great. I'm here at this table with some great Hall of Fame players," and he goes, "And Biz," and Biz was like, "Oh, really?"
And Biz is also here.
Yeah, so funny.
It was very, very funny.
It's good to
moment.
see that he's like coming out of his shell a little bit because I
Seriously,
saw
man, there
a
was so much
video-
stuff about how he has like no personality. So
there was a video like a year ago where like a girl was like getting a picture with him and she made a sign that said like, "Will you go to prom with me?" And he just had no idea how to handle the situation. He looked like he
I saw
wanted to
that.
die.
It was very awkward. Which,
Yeah.
granted, he was what 16 or
Exactly.
something. So, like you can't really blame him. But yeah, I'm glad to see him get a little more comfy.
That's my number 1 overall pick.
Use your Chicago Blackhawk. Yeah, that'll be coming up here shortly. Let's talk some extensions real quick. Cole Caufield, man, he got paid. Got an 8-year extension with the Montreal Canadiens for a big whopping $63 million. He had 26 goals and 36 points through 46 games played with Montreal this last season.
I
Good
kind of like this deal for them.
I think it's a good deal. I think down the line, I think it's going to be paying off. I mean, he's their best player already, and you got him for what was the AAV? It was under 8, I think, if math serves correctly.
Yeah, I think it was like 7 something.
Yeah, so not a bad deal in my opinion. I like it.
I think now if you're them, you gotta, how long is Suzuki locked up for? Does anyone know that?
A while,
Okay,
a long time.
there
I
you
think.
go. There's your team.
Yeah,
Just start
Yeah.
building it now.
Slavkovsky, is that how you say it?
Yep, I think he needs a little bit more time. I think they
Yeah.
tried that experiment in the first 10 games.
Didn't work.
He's definitely got the size, but
Yeah.
I think he needs a little bit more time.
All right, let's get to stuff that people actually care about. The Pittsburgh Penguins. They actually just signed Mr. Kyle Dubas to a 7-year deal, making him the new president of hockey operations. The Penguins have not named a GM yet, and Kyle Dubas will act as interim GM until later this summer when the draft and free agency is over. I was made fun of last episode for saying this was going to happen, and then it did. Like, of
Because
course,
you told us like every
3 hours
day for
after.
4 days that it was going to happen.
I am so pumped, guys. Oh my God, this is phenomenal. It's good to be a Pens fan again. I can't wait to see what this guy does this offseason. It's going to be fun. I think the Pens are going to be good next year.
What
So I'm
are the
excited.
chances that he just names himself general manager in like August?
I'm down. Do it. Rip
I have-
it.
70% chance, I think.
I have 2 words in response to this whole situation. Okay,
Of course. Yeah.
This is going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
because Harry is drinking the Kool-Aid.
Oh, I'm shotgunning the Kool-Aid.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't even mix the powder with water. You just poured
Yeah.
the packet out and
Snorting
Right.
the powder.
Yeah.
Dry scoop it. Yeah, I love this. I mean, I was talking to our good friend Nick Bowens from Hockey Collective. I think Dubas is obviously a smart guy. He's always had a winning team when he's a general manager, which is better than what we could say what happened last year with dumb fuck Flyers secret agent spy, who will never be named by me again. So I'm pretty excited. I think this is going to be good. I would love if Jason Spezza comes in as the GM. I know his name's been thrown out there because when they got rid of Dubas over in Toronto, Spezza just walked. So that would be cool if he brought in his pal there. But the last time the Leafs gave the Pens a really good asset, it turned out very nicely for us. So I'd be okay.
Kasperi Kapanen?
No, professional hot dog eater and someone who
That's
should come
right.
to my cookout, Phil Kessel.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm
The
pumped. I won't bore you guys with all this, but I'm very excited.
The only concern is that does he bring the Toronto curse to Pittsburgh where they can only get out of the first round like once in 10 years or whatever it was? So how long?
It's basically what we do
Dubas was
now,
there?
so who cares? Can't get any worse. Can't get any worse.
Oh my gosh.
But it's a good time to be a Pens fan. I'm excited. This offseason should be fun. I also think Brian Rust will get traded, so I'm going to throw that out there now.
Okay.
Brian Russ, you are a Washington Capital.
God damn it. What's going to happen with Connor Brown? Isn't he a free agent?
Yep.
He is. I'm really hoping we just like run it back with like the same fucking deal because we didn't get to have him. Like
We had him for 4 games.
Like, can we just be like, hey man, can we just do it one, like pretend that didn't happen?
Right.
Because,
Oh, you tore your ACL? No, you didn't.
Yeah.
yeah,
Just like get like the Men in Black like flashing thing, just like
literally
erase
just
his
run
memory.
it back like another 1-year deal because the whole goal was like, okay, let's see how this goes. Like we might want you long term, but let's do a 1-year deal and see what happens. And we didn't get to see what happened. So
Yeah. So he's going somewhere else is like
Probably,
exactly what's going
back
to
to
happen.
Ottawa.
Yeah, it literally.
Joel Quenneville and Stan Bowman have requested independent meetings with Commissioner Bettner in hopes of being reinstated into the NHL. I didn't hear anything further after this. I don't know if I'm behind the times here.
They're
Yep.
just, I mean,
Who
they both have
cares?
said like, you know,
No.
they want separate meetings with him in the hopes of getting reinstated, and that's about it. And I really hope that the NHL for once does the right thing and does
Yeah.
not let them back in.
lame. Move
Yeah.
on. Fuck those
Yeah.
guys.
Yep.
Speaking of, I guess not reinstated or yes reinstated.
But
was it-
speaking of fuck those
Speaking of
guys,
fuck those
Yeah.
guys.
Okay.
Holy
There it
shit,
is.
bro. oh my god.
Babs, Mr. Mike Babcock is
This
making
one-
his way
Ah.
back.
Oh,
because
man.
that's what's going to turn the Columbus Blue Jackets around.
Johnny
because
Gaudreau has
literally-
got to be sitting there going, "Are you fucking serious?" Like,
because the Columbus Blue Jackets were so good at keeping their superstars, and we all know that Babs loves superstars. So
So
God.
Mike Babcock at the end of this month will be announced as the Columbus Blue Jackets head coach. They can't name it until the end of the month because of some contract stuff with Toronto still. But yeah, Babs is back.
Oh God, like this guy just won't go away. He should have just retired after he got fired from the Red Wings. Just everyone remember you for doing an incredible job getting the Red Wings, what was it, 2 or 3 cups, something like that. Just go out on top and then just stop. Columbus, that's where his career is gonna die. He's gonna coach like 1.5 seasons, they're gonna suck, and then he's gonna get fired.
I
I'm a little
can't
nervous
believe
about it, I'm gonna be
he
honest.
wants to do this. Like, dude, like enough's enough, man. Right?
I'm a little nervous about this, I'm not gonna lie. This reminds me all too much of the Torts thing, and he was good in Columbus, Torts was, so I don't know.
I
We'll
can't
see.
wait for Mike
was-
Babcock to ask Johnny Gaudreau who his least favorite player on the team is, and then
Yeah.
go in the locker room and be like, "Hey, you guys know what Johnny told me the other day?"
Yeah, literally.
like literally that
Oh, God.
backstabbing asshole, man.
Yeah.
This literally feels like the SpongeBob meme of like, how many times do I have to tell you this, old
Yeah.
man?
Literally, it is
Yeah.
that.
That's
How many
actually
times
very
do I have
fair.
to teach you this lesson, old man?
It's like all the bad stuff you hear, and then the dude robbed Mike Modano of like his 1200th game. Like it's
Yeah.
just he was 1 game away. All he had to do was dress, and Babcock health bombed him.
Yeah,
What are you
people
doing?
forget.
Yeah.
As bad of a person as he is, I do think Columbus will end up being a little bit dangerous here, like a spoiler team, one could say. I could see them being.
I think
a
you
little
have to
competitive.
look at them. I think I get what you're saying. Like Torts was able to get that
He
team.
pulls it out of them, yeah.
He does, and I mean they swear. I mean they knocked off Tampa Bay in 4 games that playoff series. I mean that was insane to watch. But this is a very different Columbus team than that one was.
I'll tell you what, too. If Harry thinks Columbus is going to be a team to watch in the Metro, and if he thinks the Penguins are going to be good next year, and if I think the Caps are going to be good next year,
That's what you think.
And if the Flyers are in their new era with their new shade of orange and everything, then there's just going to be no bad teams at all in the Metro, right? They're all going to be excellent. So
8 teams from the Metro are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, at that point, just 1 through 8, that bitch, and send them all.
You know how the Metro is, though. Like, it could be like the 3rd and 8th place team in the division are separated by like 7 points in April. Like, it's just so stupid. I mean, it's I guess it's good for the league, but like, Jesus. All right. Anyways, the Leafs, they hired Brad Treliving as their general manager. According to Friedman, one of the conditions that the Flames gave the Leafs for hiring Treliving is that he cannot be at the team's draft table for this year's NHL entry draft. Do with that information what you will, but Toronto gets their guy. That's going to be very interesting to see how that shakes out, especially with the core 4.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of Leafs fans loved that move.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe either. So, although I don't know if they would have been happy with anybody, if we're being honest.
I mean, not a good look to have a guy who just got rid of one of his best, 2 of the best American stars in the league in basically one off season when you have one that's coming up for a contract after this year.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said that better myself. Whose no trade movement kicks into effect in 23 days, I think is what Bowen's told me. So yeah, that makes this way more complicated.
Definitely.
All right, we'll do some Memorial Cup outdoor games, and then we'll wrap up with trivia. So Nick, I'll toss off the Memorial Cup to you.
Yeah, shout out to the Quebec Remparts. They won the Memorial Cup over the Seattle Thunderbirds and spanked them 5-0. I mean, they were absolutely the better team through and through. Owner, GM, and coach Patrick Waugh has his 2nd title now with that club. They also did that in 2006. Fun fact, 2 of the guys on that 06 team that you might know, Alex Radulov and Mark-Edward Vlasic.
How about that?
Fun fact.
Yeah. Insane scenes in Quebec. I don't know if you guys watched any of that or saw like the people like packed outside the arena. It looked like it's going to be a party.
Also, potential new coach of the New York Rangers is what I'm hearing. So that should be interesting.
Whoa.
He's in the running. That's what we're seeing.
Did we just have a Harry bomb?
I thought it was Laviolette.
He's in there too. I didn't say
they hired him.
Trigger on that. Yeah.
I don't think they hired him.
I think they did.
I think we like broke that.
Yeah, I'm almost
Jay,
positive.
can you play journalist here?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Play journalist here. I could have sworn I saw on Twitter like yesterday. It was like Patrick Waugh is in the running for Rangers head coaching position.
I'm pretty sure.
Who tweeted it?
I'm pretty sure the Rangers and the Flames are the last 2 teams who don't have a coach because the Ducks just made their move today.
Let's see. Oh,
I could be wrong on this. In the meantime, outdoor games, just real quick. Battle of Alberta gets an outdoor game on October 29th. Flyers and Devils get the Meatball Parm Subway Series at MetLife on February 17th. And the Rangers and the Islanders get their Meatball Subway Series at MetLife the following day. So there's not going to be any fights.
That is going to be some shitty ice at MetLife.
I love how the NHL is trying to be like, it's going to be so cool. We're going to have them all play at the same place. And in reality, they're like, how can we save the most amount of money and also make the most amount of money?
Yes.
Because those fan bases are like separated by like what, a mile, if that?
A cheesesteak or 2.
Yeah.
So to do my journalistic digging, it was initially reported by the New York Post that Waugh was a potential. Oh, actually, both of them, Bleacher Report and the New York Post, said that Patrick Waugh is not a candidate to be the new Rangers coach. Is Lavi the official?
It's
coach? Hines and Laviolette are the front
so it's not official.
I thought it was official.
When was that posted? I swear I saw that they
NHL discussion posted
today,
that it was like
today at 1 o'clock from the New York Post.
I know for a fact he's not official yet.
And then
Mac, I'm just as stunned as you are.
I think maybe what I saw was something that said like the New York Rangers are expected to
Yeah.
announce that Peter Laviolette is their coach in the coming weeks or something. So
And
whatever
then
the fuck that means.
In
like,
Rangers
Yeah.
fashion, they just haven't done it yet.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Didn't
yeah,
it take them like 10 days to announce the Patrick Kane trade too?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also the
Yeah.
Gallant thing that took forever
Yeah.
too. And then it happened out of nowhere once it did.
Yeah.
I don't think they have an official coach yet. Yeah. Them and the Flames are the last two teams who don't have one. Pretty sure. All right, let's wrap up with trivia, and then we'll get out of here.
We could coach the Flames.
say less.
You know,
The four of
could.
us, we
yeah,
could do
via
it.
via Zoom.
We could.
Yeah,
Via Zoom.
it'll be
Or-
fine.
Just
Or
make me
man
assistant GM, and I'll have you guys take care
It's
of
just
the
a
coaching.
laptop on the bench.
Listen, can you guys do me a quick favor? All
What's up?
three of you need to do me a quick favor, right?
Sure.
Do me this favor and support your local dive bar and have a beer at Elwood's Liquor and Tap, home of the Pizza Luge, located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee on Water Street. This 70s inspired bar has a little something for everyone. I'm talking to you, Nick, Harry, and Jackson, and anyone else out there listening. From daily happy hour, rotating taps, free birthday perks, and a 4-season patio, a good time is always around the corner. With the full NHL package, plus TV screens indoors and out, hockey fans can watch any game, anytime, and don't leave your dogs at home. They're a dog-friendly bar. We will see you down at Elwood's Liquor and Tap. All
Well
right,
said.
let's
was
you guys can do
fantastic.
me that favor, right? You're gonna do
Yeah,
me that?
Of
absolutely.
course.
Yeah, I'll walk there tomorrow.
Appreciate it. All right, let's do some trivia. We're gonna do something a little
In my
different
kids.
this time. It's still this day in hockey history, but I'm gonna need to be real vague about this one. I'm gonna give you basically no information here. Okay. I think you can do it.
Okay.
And then if you get it quick enough, there's like a bonus part that we can do as well. So
Okay.
All right. Let's start super vague, see if you can just get it based off of this. Who scored the first ever penalty shot goal in Stanley Cup Final history on this day in a year?
I think I might know this one.
So what are we saying who scored it or what year it was scored?
Yeah, who scored it is what I'm really asking. But I mean, if you can figure out the year, then you'll definitely know what teams were in it.
Well, I
Somewhat
can
recent.
honestly tell you I have no idea.
It was in the last it was more recent. It was in the 2000s. I'll give you that.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I might not know this then.
Why am I feeling like it was Scott Niedermayer for some reason?
Ooh.
It's like the first name that came to my head was Scott Niedermayer.
Ooh.
it is not, but you're in the right era. Like it's right
Okay.
around then.
So it's in the 2000s. not the
Okay.
Oh.
2010s.
Can I ask a question?
Maybe.
Or like, are you going to tell me like if I'm close or not? No.
Maybe.
It depends. What's the
Okay.
question?
Actually, I'm just going to guess.
Yeah.
Go
Alright.
for it. Rip
Peter
it.
Sikora.
No.
Fuck.
Okay. Was this? I don't know if this will give it away. Was this guy a star player or was this guy a role player?
I mean, he's a super household hockey name. Like totally. Like everyone knows this guy.
Was Steven?
Everyone.
Huh?
Nothing. You go.
I was gonna say, was Steven Stamkos on that Lightning team that one? Or wait, was it Vincent Lecavalier?
No.
Ugh.
All right, I'll take it.
Not a
I'll
lightning
take it.
guy.
I'll take a guess.
All right.
Patrick Elias.
No. The problem is I can't give you the year because it'll be way too obvious.
It's in the 2000s if he guessed Anaheim.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's very close to that cup final, to the Anaheim Cup final.
What year was
Which
the
was
Anaheim
right
Cup
in-
final?
right
Was
in,
that
like-
2007?
That was
Yeah, it's like
2007.
it's give or
Okay.
take like a couple years. I'll give you that info. Like
Okay.
like plus or minus like
So-
3 years from there.
And
Okay,
like, you're not going to
so
give
then-
us country of origin because that would be a dead giveaway, right?
I
So
mean,
it's
I
either-
could. I don't.
So it's
it-
either 2005 or 2011.
It's not gonna help you that much.
Who is Sergei Fedorov?
No.
Damn it.
So who was in the
Take my hint.
2005?
Country of origin wouldn't help you that much. It
Okay.
really wouldn't.
Who
okay,
was in
so
2005? Who was in the Cup final in 2000?
Hurricanes,
No
Oilers. Well, he means the Yes. It was the Hurricanes, Oilers, then it was the Ducks and the Senators, and then it was the Penguins and the Red Wings, I believe. And I don't think the Penguins Red Wings one had that. Which would tell me it needs to be Carolina Edmonton.
It happened in I can tell you it happened in game 1.
Okay.
Was it a Stahl brother?
Oh, I'm
Well-
also willing to tell you that no, okay. Well, sure. Fuck it,
Yeah.
why not?
I mean, we're struggling here.
Game 1, the team who had the penalty shot, he scored and they won, but they did not win the cup.
Okay.
All right, so
It's
let's
a cup
think of,
loser.
and he's a household name according to Mac. Holy shit, did Chris Pronger score a
Let's go, Harry.
Oh my God, I was gonna
Go!
say that.
Yep.
Okay. So you want to do the bonus part?
Yes.
Sure.
The Edmonton Oilers hosted the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final on June 5th, 2006. Things started great for the home team as they built a 3-0 lead in the second period. Chris Pronger scored the first ever penalty shot goal in final history to go along with goals from Ethan Moreau and who's the other guy that scored a goal for the Oilers that night?
Ryan Smith.
No, but I mean, keep going through that lineup.
Okay.
I will guess Alesh Hemsky. No. Okay.
I feel like I vaguely remember that team, but I can't like pick anybody out of there. Like I feel like there's like one big star winger on that.
This
team.
is a fun one. Like you guys definitely should know. I would think Harry and Nick at least for sure know who this guy is. I would think
Oilers.
Jackson probably knows the name at least. He's just kind of a funny one though. Like he's not like so deep cut, but he's like when I read the name, I was like, oh yeah, that guy, huh?
On the Edmonton Oilers.
The 06 Oilers. It's
Yep.
just it's literally my brain is like Ryan Smith, Chris Pronger,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
Dwayne Roloson.
Right, yeah.
A forward who scored for them.
His name is like objectively kind of funny. Like you could definitely make some jokes about it.
Jordan Tutu.
No.
Jeff Bookaboom.
No.
Is that a real person?
Jeff Bookaboom?
Never
Yeah.
heard of him.
Yeah. Won cups with the Oilers and the Rangers.
Mac, I
don't know.
I cannot dig that deep into my history book brain. Can I get a country of origin? Does that help?
Don't call my name. Don't call my name.
Oh.
Say it.
Pisani, right?
Fernando Pisani.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow,
I've
I would not
never
have
heard
got-
of that name in my life.
I've heard
Nick,
that
you know
very
Fernando
briefly.
Pisani.
It's a deep cut, but yeah.
Pisani, come on.
Yeah.
It's a deep cut, but yeah.
He was an Oilers staple.
It would have
come
taken
on.
me another like 20 minutes if you
Hey,
hadn't
at least I gave you Ethan Moreau. I don't know who
Yeah.
the fuck that guy is.
me neither. Older brother of Connie Moreau from the Mighty Ducks.
There you go.
I appreciate the Lady Gaga hint though. That helped a lot.
Ali Alejandro.
That's a good trivia question. I like that.
Yeah.
I actually saw that I flipped NHL Network on one day by accident, like recently, and it was Chris Pronger talking about that penalty shot. I was like, he scored a
Oh,
penalty
wow.
shot? Good thing I saw that.
So that unlocked that memory in your brain, huh?
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone know if there's been another one?
I don't think so.
I know that Bure was stopped by Richter on a penalty shot in 94, but that's the only other one that came to
So
mind.
this was the only goal. That doesn't mean there wasn't one awarded, I guess.
right.
But
That's a wild
I
stat.
wonder. Yeah. I feel
Also,
I feel like there was one in like one of the weird like COVID bubble ones. Like
Probably.
wasn't there one in like the Dallas Tampa one or like
I think there was. No,
I don't know if it was a goal, but I feel like I remember a penalty shot for somebody in either that one or maybe the Montreal Tampa one or something like that. But
probably. Also, those Oilers uniforms from 06, like the dark blue ones,
yeah,
love them.
I love those. Those are
Absolutely
sweet.
love them.
Really?
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh, there
Oh.
was another penalty shot, but it wasn't a goal. Antoine Vermette on the Ottawa
Mhm.
Senators against the Ducks in 07. And that was the
Mm.
last penalty shot in the Stanley Cup
I
Final.
Really?
would not
So
have guessed that if my life depended on it.
I'm just making shit up for this Dallas Montreal shit, huh? I really
And I
thought
just
that
agreed
was-
with it.
Yeah,
You were like,
I mean,
"You're
it sounded
right."
right to me. I mean,
yeah, that rings a
anything,
bell.
literally everything
yeah.
but that happened that year, so why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah,
Right.
well, yeah, that rings
But,
a bell. Why not? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, that just about wraps it up for us. We will be back with you guys after Game 4. We'll do another little 2-game recap after Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals, which probably won't happen until a week from now, which is crazy to say. You guys got any final notes before we wrap up?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
All right, sounds good. Well, we appreciate all the love and support as always. And without further ado,
Class dismissed.